Well, good afternoon, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay? Great. My name is Sean Butcher, and I'm the past president and director emeritus of the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area and co-chair of the Frederick County U.S. Semi-Quincentennial Commission. We are gathered on this glorious Sunday, but this is not an ordinary Sunday. Today is also Flag Day. So it is appropriate that we are here where the author of our national anthem, who paid homage to this flag, is buried. But as an Army veteran, I would be also remiss without not mentioning that June 14th, today, 2026, marks the 251st birthday of the U.S. Army. So I'd like to ask all veterans, regardless of branch of service, to please stand or wave to be recognized. I would also like to ask all of you, if you're able, to please stand and turn and face the flag as Liam Lewis, a youth representative on the commission, on the U.S. Semi-Quincentennial Commission, and a member of the Frederick County Youth Council, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And sorry, Liam Kapsgolf. I apologize for that error there. I would like to ask, thank you, Liam. And please remain standing as Lee Swedge leads us in the national anthem. Lee?
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. And the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. You may be seated. So not only is today Flag Day, but we are in the midst of this week kicking off Civic Season, a national initiative that runs from June 19th or Juneteenth to July 4th. It's also a youth-led initiative to encourage civic engagement. And so it's appropriate that we started with Liam with the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, today's dedication of the Liberty tree planting would not be possible without some state partners. And the Liberty trees are being planted within heritage areas across every jurisdiction, including every Maryland county and the City of Baltimore. A statewide partnership is sponsoring this project, including Preservation Maryland, the Maryland Center for History and Culture, the Department of Natural Resources, Maryland Forest Service, the Southern Maryland National Heritage Area, and the Maryland Heritage Areas Coalition and the Maryland 250 Commission. So let's give all of those partners a round of applause. We also have one elected official with us today, so I want to make sure he'll come up a little bit later, but County Council President Brad Young, please stand to be recognized. Thank you for being here. Now, today's planting wouldn't be possible without the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area, and Liz Chateau is also here. So Liz, raise your hand. Let's give her a round of applause. She was instrumental, and actually our Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area President, Gary Candelaria, is here as well. Gary, where are you? Right behind her, almost. So the Heart of the Civil War Heritage Area, through Liz's leadership, was responsible with coordinating and supporting this particular planting, but it wouldn't be possible without, obviously, our host, and that is Mount Olivet Cemetery. So without further ado, I'd like to ask Chris Ha to come up and say a few words. Chris?
Good afternoon. On behalf of the Board of Directors of Mount Olivet Cemetery and our superintendent, the 7th superintendent of Mount Olivet, John Ronald Piercy, let the emergency vehicle go away there. I'd like to welcome you all to Mount Olivet Cemetery. Thanks for being here today as you were sitting in an area of the historic burial ground we now call Star Spangled Plaza. And it has been undergoing quite a transformation over the last few months, as perhaps some of you have noticed if you've been in here, and you can see behind you. We'll continue to work on this project throughout the rest of the summer and early fall, up through our formal dedication, which is scheduled for November 7th at 4 p.m. So we hope that you can join us. You'll hear more about that in the months to come. Opened in 1854, Mount Olivet is home to over 41,000 decedents, including the Maryland and Frederick native who wrote our country's national anthem. Of course, as you know, you just participated there in the national anthem there. His gravesite is roughly 75 yards from where you're sitting, if that. He received the bulk of his education in Annapolis. He graduated from St. John's College in the year 1796. While there, it has been conjectured that Francis, from time to time, likely sought solace by reading and studying under the shade of a very special tree that was on campus. This was a large tulip poplar which gained fame a few decades earlier during the trying times of the American Revolution. A few weeks back, we had the great honor of planting a descendant of that same exact tree. And it's located basically about 25 feet from the large monument placed over that former St. John's grad's grave in 1898. In time, the special tulip poplar will provide a degree of shade for Francis Scott Key's gravesite. Interesting how history has a way of repeating itself, isn't it? Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. And now I'd like to ask one of our state partners, Katie Caljean, the President and CEO of the Maryland Council of History and Culture, to come forward and say a few remarks.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here with us today. My name is Katie Caljean. I am the President and CEO of the Maryland Center for History and Culture, formerly the Maryland Historical Society, your statewide history, museum, and library. So this project is very special, and it's important to remember that each location that we've selected in partnership with the heritage areas really holds special meaning for each place. And that this is not just a 1776 story, this is 250 years of American history. And so this project, it started 2 years ago when I learned about a man in Western Maryland, in Allegheny County, so farther west than here, Allegheny County, who was growing saplings from a scion of the last standing Liberty tree in the nation on St. John's College. And I was immediately intrigued and needed to know what he was doing. And so I knew I needed to meet him and learn more about this uniquely Maryland story. That man is Champ Zumbrin, a retired Maryland Department of Natural Resources forester who once managed Green Ridge State Forest for over 30 years. So Champ, he welcomed the conversation, shared his vision, and with friends from Preservation Maryland, we traveled to Flintstone, Maryland to meet him and see the saplings firsthand. There, we learned how working with the Allegheny County Forestry Board in collaboration with St. John's College in Annapolis and with support from Davey tree experts, he had been collecting seeds every fall for about a decade from that last standing tree. And so this revival is a remarkable blend of both history and science. In 1889, caretakers at St. John's College grafted a scion, so a piece of the tree, from the original tulip poplar. And because a graft preserves the exact genetic copy, the identity of that parent tree, the scion is still growing on campus today and is, biologically speaking, the Liberty Tree continued. So from that living link to the past, seeds were carefully collected and nurtured at the John Ayton Tree Nursery in Preston, Maryland, which is on the eastern shore. So these trees have traversed the whole state. The first successful effort produced only 13 seedlings, a fitting tribute to the original 13 colonies, and later efforts expanded that number to nearly 200 saplings. From these, 24 have been set aside for plantings in every Maryland county in 2026. But a statewide project like this requires more than vision, it requires partnership. We knew that we couldn't do this alone. So the Maryland Department of Natural Resources, they have provided the essential funding, expertise, and hands-on support through the 5 Million Trees Initiative. The Southern Maryland National Heritage Area and the Maryland Heritage Areas Coalition have helped connect to communities for this effort, identifying meaningful planting sites and local stewards, including Mount Olivet Cemetery. And the Maryland 250 Commission has helped to sponsor events like this one, ensuring that communities can take part in this living commemoration. Together, these partnerships have transformed an idea into something tangible and lasting. The revival of Maryland's Liberty Tree is more than a planting project. It's a story of collaboration, stewardship, and a shared commitment to preserving the past for future generations. We are not just preserving memory, we are cultivating a living legacy. Thank you so much for joining us on this journey.
And now I'd like to ask Dana Cohen from Preservation Maryland, another statewide partner, to come up and say a few words. Dana?
I always fear a mic on a stand because I'm so short, but this worked. Good afternoon. I'm Dana Cohen with Preservation Maryland, and I am grateful to be here representing one of the partners of the Maryland Liberty Tree Project. As Katie mentioned, this project has brought together counties from across the state as well as Baltimore City through a shared effort to commemorate the nation's 250th anniversary in a meaningful and lasting way. What we love and appreciate about this story and this project, and one of the reasons we decided that it was an important way to celebrate the anniversary, is that each community has its own story to tell. So every event that we have done and every community that has planted and hosted a Liberty Tree tells the story a little bit different, right? What the history that their community reflects, it's a different event each time. And it together reflects something important about Maryland, that we are, as it has been said, America in miniature. Our history is complex, diverse, challenging, and deeply connected to the larger American story. The project connects people to place, as Katie mentioned, in a very tangible way. And it's about stewardship of our shared history, our landscapes, and the stories that define each of the communities across the state. Historically, Liberty Trees were places where people gathered to debate ideas and imagine a different future. Today, these trees will serve a different purpose, but carry forward that same spirit of civic connection, engagement, and reflection. Long after today's ceremony is over, the tree will remain here as a marker of this moment and this community. And my hope is that it encourages future generations to think about their own role in preservation and preserving and strengthening the places and the stories that matter. Thank you guys for being a part of it today.
Thank you, Dana. I mentioned early on in my introduction of myself that I am co-chair of the U.S. Semi-Quincentennial Commission for Frederick County, which means I have a fellow co-chair. I'd like to ask Isela Bravo, who's the co-chair with me, and also a representative of County Executive Jessica Fitzwater, come forward, and she'll be joined by County Council President Brad Young for a proclamation.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much, everybody, for being here today. It is so wonderful to see so many people taking part in this wonderful celebration, and we hope you're going to take part in more throughout the year. Make sure I'm going to put in a plug here for Visit Frederick America 250 to find out about all of our activities. Our commission has been working really hard. We've got a great commission put together, so thank you. And now I'll put on my other hat. On behalf of Jessica Fitzwater, County Executive, I would like to proclaim today our Legacy of Liberty Day in Frederick County, Maryland, and commend this observance to all of our citizens. Signed, Jessica Fitzwater.
Thank you. It is an honor to be here today on behalf of the County Council to hear that there's only 24th, and this is the second now in Frederick County. About 6 or 8 weeks ago, we dedicated a tree down in Liberty Town Park. What two better places between Liberty Town for the Liberty Tree and where Francis Scott Key is buried to have these two trees. I am a 10th generation Frederick County, and I always tell people my life is kind of boring if you add a 2-mile radius on to where we're standing. I was born at Frederick Health, lived in my first, second, third, and fourth house, had my first, second, and current job, and met my wife who, in 6 weeks ago, we would have got married downtown 40 years ago, and ultimately we'll end up back here. Multiple generations of relatives that are back here, and so it is a very fitting place to celebrate and have this tree be planted here that hopefully hundreds of years from now my great-great-grandchildren will be enjoying and saying, hey, my great-great-granddad was there for when that tree was planted. So thank you, and thank you to everybody that's involved in this process, and look forward to seeing many more throughout the state. Congratulations.
So now, the moment we've been waiting for. First of all, I'd like to thank the members of the Monocacy Field Music Group, including Ben Squire, Daniel Wilson, Michelle Wilson, and Claude Bauer, who not only kicked us off this afternoon, but will lead us in a procession up to the actual tree. So as they start us off, please follow behind them, and we will gather and officially dedicate the Liberty Tree. Thank you all.
Peter Mance. We've got the Mance family. We've got three great-grandchildren here. All right. No, all good.
Yes. How's that? That shot, Lance.